morning and namaskar viewers. You're watching Good Morning Northeast with me, Debajyoti Das Gupta, and dear viewers, today being a very special day. I see everywhere lushy greens, although not too many of greeneries outside, but then the breeze outside is something which is absolutely very soothing, very loving, and believe me, what is even more loving and beautiful that I am being joined by a very radiant guest this morning who's already here with me in the studio. I literally love this personality for the very fact that she is very radiant, she is very eloquent, and what is more important, the way she articulates herself, the way she advocates her eloquence is something which is absolutely and certainly to die for. Because I'll just give you a short example. Usually in today's arena, in the recent times, in the very contemporary times, we have seen that people, they would love calling themselves, or rather tagging themselves up with the fashion designer tag. But when I had a word with her, she stated that she's not just a fashion designer, or rather she's not a fashion designer at all, but she is a fashion curator, or probably a cloth maker rather. So what exactly she meant by that, we would try and get some more light onto the very fact. But for the timing, let me roll the camera to my guest. She is none other than the very gorgeous and very beautiful Anamika Choudhury. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very good.
Well, how was the introduction, by the way?
That was very good.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, there was a very important reason for saying these wonderful things, all goody things about you. The very fact that you are a cloth maker. And we are kind of people, we are in the showbiz sector when we need a lot of clothes. So the next time, whenever I think that I'm falling short of some clothes, I'm going to call you.
Certainly, yes, I would love to help you out. But like, you know, I have just restricted my profession only for ladies' clothes making.
That's very bad. That's very mean. How mean if you, why we don't wear clothes? But why is that? Tell me first.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, because ladies' clothes line, like, it's very vast to start off with. And I run a tailoring unit. We customize clothes, and it's always full. We are up to the brim all the time.
Oh.
So, like, yes, this is a very common question that I have come across a lot, many times. Maybe in the future, who knows, I might give a thought about it.
You know, Anamika ji,
Yeah.
so you stated that you don't like calling yourself as a fashion designer, rather a cloth maker.
Yes, because you know what, I am making things mostly for a regular purpose, like, you know, for a lady or a girl, for a regular maybe day-to-day wear, or for her special occasions, but not just for the ramps, basically.
Okay.
So, like, you know, it's dressmaking is like, you know, for anything. Like, it can be starting from a petticoat to like attaching a fall to a sari or a mekhela. So I do everything. So, like, you know, I consider myself a dressmaker.
Okay.
Yes, I design clothes as well.
Oh, that's
so, like, you know, it's a clothes designer and a maker. Yes.
Now, tell me, Anamika, how did you venture into this profession?
Well,
This is something very interesting, though.
I've been in this industry, like, rather my boutique with the tailoring part of it for the past 16 years.
16 years?
16 years, yeah.
My
so
goodness.
I work silently.
Okay.
So I haven't, like, you know, my good work has been my word of mouth. That has been my
Absolutely
own
right.
only advertisement, actually.
And I think, do you really also think that your eloquence and the kind of poisonous that you have in you also helps to catch eyeballs of people? It does?
Yeah, it does. It does. Like, you know, but I rarely have a time, like, you know, I rarely have the opportunity to flaunt my own stuff, like, in the sense, like, my Master Ji, he's always busy. He's always busy doing it for others. So there are times I'm like, Master Ji, I don't think I can, you know, go for this function without, you know, a blouse of my own. Like,
Okay.
you know, by the way, my forte are blouses.
Your-
Blouses
Okay.
for Indian saris and mekhela sadors.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
my
basically
forte.
specialize on blouse, as in not
No,
Indian
no.
attires.
No, I do everything. I do Indo-Western, I do Indian, I do regular clothing, everything, bridal. We take orders for bridals.
Okay.
So, but like, my forte,
Okay.
I would say, is like, people do think, so I think I go by that, like,
That's
they
great.
like the cut and the fit of my
Oh,
blouses.
that's
So that's the forte, maybe that's the trump
That's
card.
that's wonderful. And now tell me, have you ever been to any design institute to pursue basically this
I'm
as a career?
self-taught.
You are self-taught, and I think when you
Yes,
are self-taught, you happen to really experiment being there on ground level. You
yes,
try and see the masses on a regular basis, have those, as in we call that on-job training. So
yes,
in-hand experience, you get that without having any
yes.
technical knowledge.
Yes, because let me tell you, yeah, without any technical knowledge, but like, I was always very interested in this line. Like, I was always very fashionable from ever since I remember. So I always loved dressing up. And my mother used to always indulge me in that. And I always wanted to be a little different from the crowd.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did my own things to do that. I didn't like, I used to add things from here and there. So, and I stitched a lot
Okay.
as a kid also,
Okay.
like I learned, like, and I love
But I think
stitching.
this practice is somewhere missing these days. It's just
Yes,
vanished.
it has vanished, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
don't blame anyone for that also.
well,
Yeah.
Anamika, now when I was having a word with you, you also stated that you are a very, very creative and an artistic person. And viewers, let me tell you that she just do not confines herself, or she doesn't confine herself to a shell which only has to do with garment construction or maybe cloth making, but she also believes and loves painting, and she loves anything that is to do with beautifying an object, right?
Absolutely.
So, what are the things that you do
Oh
apart
my God.
from, of
Yeah.
course, making clothes?
Apart from making clothes, I design jewelry, but like these are very personal things. Like I don't do it professionally, but like even then, like let me tell you, because it's a part of my love for creativity.
Okay.
So I love designing jewelry. So I would mix and match. I would collect. I'm a big collector, by the way.
Okay.
I collect a lot of things.
Okay.
I collect. So like I have a junkyard, like my mother says. Her junkyard.
Okay.
So, and that junkyard is so huge, I can't tell you, because I keep collecting things from
Do you even
different.
go back and look into those, whatever you have collected?
I do, and I pick up things.
Okay. Oh,
I
that's
do
nice.
it, like to the extent of like if I like a string somewhere, I might need that for a choker someday, and I collect it and I keep it. So and I use it sometimes, a leftover piece of lace, I would put it as a choker. Oh yeah.
This is something very, very
Yes,
interesting.
so like, I love designing jewelry. Then I love doing gardening. Like,
Okay.
I don't do the gardening bit, but I love, like, giving the concepts.
Okay.
The same thing goes for interiors.
Interiors.
Yes,
Oh, that's
same thing goes for interiors. Then I love cooking. It's not the regular cooking, but fancy cooking. I'm very interested.
I think she's said this to a very wrong person, but I'm a
You
very
have to
wrong
cook.
person for that.
You love food.
I am a big foodie. But anyway,
Okay, that's
Anamika
nice.
ji, another thing that I want to ask you at the moment, in the very contemporary times, I'm sure that you would also believe, be it designing, be it garment construction, it comes with a baggage of responsibility.
Of course it does.
And in the very contemporary times, we have seen that, quote unquote, this is again quite controversial, that the designers these days, they take this profession to be very easy. They think they get just ready-made materials outside. They, I don't know what they want to stitch. They get it stitched and then they present it on a runway show. So what's your take on this?
This is a tricky question that I have to answer now.
Yes.
Yeah, because the industry, like let me tell
And
you, like the
moreover, I'm
availability.
sorry to interrupt you here. I'm asking you this question because you have an experience which is more than a decade. You were there in the business for 16 years. You have seen the fashion scenario in this part of the region evolve and grow. So I think you would be a best person to reference that.
Yes, but like I would still tell you, like working has become easier with like, the internet. Now I can work with my karigars outside Guwahati with WhatsApp, which earlier I had to go myself. So it's much more easier now. Like, and like, you are now talking about fabrics or
Yes.
which.
No, what I mean to say is there are designers who probably goes and buys just a piece of cloth and then they just make a garment which is not fit for anything. To be very lame, it might sound very absurd, but then yeah, that's the fact. Because somewhere down the line, they believe that the work of a designer is quite easy. Do you really think that?
Work of a designer is not really easy. Like, if you want to do your own stuff, but if there are shortcuts, of course, like in any other way, but like, since I do it very passionately, so I'm very passionate about it. So I do not take the shortcuts. And I'm a perfectionist by nature.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, I'm a perfectionist to the extent like I go overboard at
Oh my
times.
goodness.
And sometimes I'm hands-on. Like there are times when, time is a constraint. So I sit with my girls, I stitch up, I do this, I do the finishing. And it's so much fun also, like, but I'm hands-on.
This is really
Yeah,
amazing.
this is
Well,
hands-on. I take the thread, the needle, I do the stitching, I do the finishing, I help them out because time becomes a constraint.
Right.
And there are times when I feel like, I'm not being able to explain my mind out exactly. So then I said, okay, give me that.
and I am the one.
Yes.
I'll
And they're
boss it
like,
now.
yes. No, so like, I have a lovely team. And like, here I would also like to tell you, like, this is deviating from here, but like, just to show you, like, this is a fabulous team that I'm working for. And the proceeds of my profession, like, the proceeds, I give it back to my team, actually. I look after their families. Their children go to school with that.
That's
Because I'm blessed, I don't need that. Yes.
this is, I think,
My husband looks after me.
this is something which is I
I'm
wouldn't
blessed,
I
that's-
wouldn't how do I define that? That's very difficult for me to say
So
at the
like,
moment.
I have a
But
lovely
anyways, you're
team.
making my link a little easy because I have a question popping up at the moment. But before that, it's time for a short break. So do you mind that?
Not at all.
All right. So, dear viewers, it's now time for me to slip into a short breather. And please stay tuned because I am in conversation with this symmetrical and an extensive personality, Anamika Choudhury. So, stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers. You're watching Good Morning Northeast with me, Debajyoti Das Gupta. And viewers, we almost inched towards the last segment of this episode. Although I don't really feel very excited and good about saying that this is the last segment. But again, time has its own way of running, so can't help. But Anamika ji, you're not just a garment constructor or a cloth maker. I would rather call you as a fashionista because this is the best word that would rather fit in for you. But you are also a fitness enthusiast.
Yes.
You look absolutely stunning, very, very, very gorgeous. So now tell me, ये fitness की कीड़ा कैसे? मतलब how did it come to you?
See, like, since school, I was always conscious about, remaining fit, about not having a tummy, about having a
I think I need to hide
washboard,
mine.
about having a washboard abs. Like, so I was always very conscious about that from that time. But like, as time passed, of course, age plays up and like, I was always conscious about walking. I didn't do much of workout.
Okay.
Then like I started a gym like maybe 2006, which was about just for a year.
Okay.
And then had to give up. And then I'm the lazy person that I am. Like if I'm not working out, I'm actually very lazy.
Very lazy?
Very lazy. But
Okay.
like when I get into the grid, then it's again the different Anamika. I'm 100% or 0%, nothing in between.
No stagnancy there.
No. So like, then the work was, I was also learning this profession. So like, I had to devote a lot more time than the amount that I'm devoting now because my team is very well equipped now. They can handle a lot of things. So like, I had to give a lot of time and I was neglecting myself in terms of not exercising and gaining weight. So I have a very bad, horrible 4 years phase where I had put on a lot of weight.
Okay.
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that was about from 12 to 16, 2012 to 16.
And how long did it take for you to shred down those extra
From
kilos?
16, I'm what I am now. So
And how many hours a day you work out?
just 1 hour.
Just 1
Just
hour.
1 hour.
Now, I want to know the most important thing. Usually, when we hit the gym, usually the trainer states that you have to control your diet.
That
you
is
have
true.
to
That is
have a
very true.
balanced diet.
It is actually 80% and 20%. You don't believe it, but like, it doesn't sound
80%
true.
is the diet.
Is the diet.
20% is the
Is
workout.
the workout.
Well, I need to give a
See, because
thought
you are
about
there
this.
only for 1.5 hours. The rest of the, like, 22.5 hours, you are 20, like,
What is the kind of exercise that you love or you just endorse the most?
See, my kind of, see, I'm very flexible by, like physically I'm very flexible. My body is very flexible. So I indulge in a lot of flexible kind of exercises, which you
Okay.
can name as
Freehand?
freehand, yeah.
Okay.
Like, those are like yoga stunts. Like, but
Okay.
I'm not a yogi. I just know some bit of
Okay.
yoga. So, but I do a lot of weight training, which is like thrice a week.
Thrice
I
a
do,
week,
yeah,
okay.
thrice a week. And the rest of the 3 days are mostly cardio.
Okay.
Cardio includes, and I include abs exercise with that.
Okay. And in fact, now that you
I'm
have...
lazy on that part, by the way. I'm lazy on that part. I like the cardio bit, but I don't like the
Weight
floor exercises. I hate it. I'm reprimanded by my trainers. Ma'am, why don't you do this? Ma'am, you should be doing this. And I'm so lazy on that.
But one thing that I must appreciate about you is that you are coming out and you are stating that you want to do, because the moment I had a word with you before coming on to the camera, you stated that you want to promote fitness now.
Yes.
Because this is something in 21st century, again, I'm sure that everyone believes, and I keep repeating this, that we go through a lot of mental and physical torture. And just taking out a little time for ourselves would probably help us in many ways to stay fit, basically. So thank you so much. And before I actually wind up this episode, I have just one last question. When do we get to see you on an aisle doing a runway show?
Haven't done it as yet, but
So,
I'll keep it in my mind.
Because now that you have
this
stated
is a
that
question that I've been facing for very long.
very long, but we definitely and certainly want to see you showcasing your garments, showcasing your creativity on an aisle, because
Thank you.
there are a lot of shows
I'll keep that in
coming
mind.
up.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
keep that in mind.
Thank you so much, Anamika ji.
you.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful.
It's a great pleasure.
It was
meeting
wonderful
you.
meeting you too.
Thank you.
And I have a little message for everyone.
Sure.
It is like eat right, exercise right,
I think I'm the
and above all, think right.
right.
And
Absolutely.
you stay beautiful throughout. That is
I think
the
this
thing.
is the mantra that you follow.
I do.
And that is the reason you look absolutely stunning and gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, Anamika Choudhury, for joining us this morning. And saying this, dear viewers, it's now time for me to wrap up this edition of Good Morning Northeast. And thank you so much for watching this. This is Debajyoti Das Gupta signing off. But you keep watching Northeast Live for more updated and freshly brewed contents. Thank you.